Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 1252 of the Locked On Hawks podcast. I am your host, Brad Rowland, coming to you on a Thursday evening into Friday. Thank you for joining us, as always, on the podcast. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and across the podcast platform of your choice. Today's show is actually a part two, so stop right now. If you missed part one, I talked to Ben Pfeifer, who's very smart in the NBA draft. That should be in your feed right now. This is part two that you're about to listen to. It's definitely better to listen to it in chronological order, so check that out. Part one is available right now at the same time as part two. Check that out for sure. But in general, NBA draft talk with myself and Ben, talking about all kinds of stuff from the top of the draft to the middle of the draft to the Hawks options, second round picks, sleepers, his favorite players, etc. All that is in one place. But again, part one is already on the feed. This is part two that you're about to listen to. And after the intro, I'll be back with myself and Ben Pfeifer on the NBA draft.
You are Locked On Hawks, your daily Atlanta Hawks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
I feel like I'm asking everybody this, but do you have a Pat Baldwin take?
Yeah, I do. I probably lean like more pro Pat Baldwin than consensus for sure, but like maybe more anti than like some of my draft Twitter friends. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to do with him. Like,
No one does.
Like this year was obviously so weird. Like the context was so strange, and like there was he dealt with injuries for a lot of it. Like it's like hard for me to like shake him like really struggling at times to like create advantages and like look dominant against like that level of competition. Like the shot making versatility was always going to be awesome, and the flashes were great, and he didn't really have trouble getting his shots off. But in terms of like dribbling at times, and like just like making plays on the ball, like God, like it's hard for me not like I feel like people tell me I shouldn't be this concerned, but like I don't know. Like that is really bad competition. Like
very.
I think like the struggles were pretty significant. Defensively, I actually thought he did good things. Like I thought he was like a better defender than I honestly expected. Like again, competition, but like
and he's super long. I mean, the thing is he tested so bad.
Yeah, he's huge, but
he's huge. Yeah, he's 6'10 plus, almost 7'2 wingspan. But like, didn't he have like a legendarily bad vertical or something? Like, I remember what the number was, but it was like in the mid 20s. It was really
26.
Bad. Yeah, that's bad.
Which like I can't be bothered to care that much about a combine vertical.
No,
it's about like the most like out game testing you get, because like when are you ever gonna get like that level of time to jump in a basketball game? You're just not. I mean, I don't think that's unfair of his athletic limitations. Like he is like coming off an injury, and like that's never his game. Like the thing with Baldwin was always like he is like enormous and an unbelievable shooter.
Yeah,
and I don't think that has gone away. So I think he's like still a very good prospect. Not like a top 5 or 7 guy that I had in preseason, but I definitely think.
But a first rounder in your mind still.
I think he could be worth a top 20 pick for sure.
Yeah, because there's the people now that are out on him are like way out. Like can't take him in the first round.
If the Hawks took him at like 16, I don't think it would be bad.
Yeah, I tend to buy it a little bit more than most people do as well. It is a situation though where you got to know you're taking a bit of a risk because like, especially early on, I can't imagine him being any good as a rookie. Like after what it looked like this year, I think he's going to have some work to do.
He's going to be able to shoot probably, but otherwise, there's going to be growing pains. I kind of see him like I saw like Zaire last year. They're very different players, but like
similar, terrible freshman season.
But it's like if you are like in, you will be very in, and if you are out, you will think he's like a non-NBA player. And I think both were like reasonable,
semi-reasonable
teams to have.
Well, yeah, and it's just as a sidebar, I would have lost a bet on Zaire Williams playing playoff rotation minutes this year.
Oh, absolutely, me too.
And I liked him too, but like, and even then, it is worth saying, him playing doesn't mean he was still not very good as a rookie. Like his numbers weren't good and all this, but he was able to be on the court, which was a huge thing for as bad as he was at Stanford to be actually able to play in the playoffs.
Skeptical of Zaire as well. I certainly liked him more than some people, but like I had him like in like the mid teens, which was like lower than some people had him. And like he seems to be on like a path to outperform that. And he has upped his hair game as well. So I like again, like those guys, like if they work out, they really work out. Because like the skill sets, I mean, again, like Zaire was like probably just like generally better than Pat at this point, but like those skill sets are really rare. Like the giant shooters who can do
Yeah.
some stuff. It's like I am very interested in swinging on Pat Baldwin. Like he's a guy I don't want to let get too far. Like
No, I tend to agree, and you just have to know you're taking a little bit of a risk, and that's okay. I mean, that's part of the calculus in this mid first round range. This is kind of there's a guy. He's kind of in his own category for me in looking at the board because of the way he plays, and he's a pure combo. Like he's not even like shooting guard size necessarily, but it's TyTy Washington, and I wonder what you make of him because usually mocked like late lottery, mid first, has the Kentucky combo guard thing that seems to work every year for someone. It's probably a little bit overstated, but still, I mean,
it's pretty. It's kind of true. Like,
it is kind of true. I mean, going back to Devin Booker, I mean, I know he was a little bit bigger, but Devin Booker, Tyler Hero, Maxey, etc.
I mean, I went quickly too, like who I'm.
Oh yeah, quickly is another guy that like
happy about because
he's doing well. Yeah, I mean that's it's a long list. Of course, like you have the Harrison twins too. It doesn't always work, but all that said, like, do you like TyTy? And also, part two of that question is, do you think he works with Trey? If the Hawks,
I'm not a big TyTy guy generally, but like having said that, I'd still like I have him like probably like outside of the top 30 on my board, and yet like he's still like if we took him at 16, I'd be like whatever. As we kind of mentioned earlier with the
kind of
flatness generally. I don't mind him as like an off guard with someone like Trey because like he is like I think the thing with him is like you're kind of hoping that he like translates like the very very impressive mid range pull up shooting into 3-point pull up shooting. Like that is the reason you draft TyTy to me. Like I don't really care. Like he's a fine enough passer. Like he can make the simple pick and roll reads. You know, he's got finishing craft. Whenever he gets there, he's okay on defense. Like the reason you're drafting TyTy is because you think he's going to become a monster pull up shooter, which isn't so impossible.
Yeah,
but I think it's a guy who could like potentially like play off of Trey because like one of the things with like TyTy is like he really can't get to the rim on his own, but when he does, he has like pretty solid finishing craft there as well. So, like I think like he makes sense as a guy playing off of someone. Like he is like a little small, and like not the greatest defender. Like he makes sense as like an off guard role next to a very like heavy usage star creator in basically any capacity. I think he'd be better next to like a bigger creator.
Yeah.
Than a smaller one. But like I don't think it can't work. And like again, another one where like if they picked him at 16, it's like like whatever. Like probably better, but like I get it.
No, I think I like him more than you, but not like I don't know. I mocked him to the Hawks for dime in my first one, and it was not it's the first one after the lottery, and we're all just kind of throwing darts at that point in time. He did measure at almost 6'4" in shoes, which isn't like super small, but it's still not huge for someone you're mostly playing off the ball, or at least alongside Trey. 6'8" wingspan's decent enough. Like I think he's a better, just to use the Kentucky comparison again, he's a better defender than Hero. Like he's better than that, but he's not going to be like great defensively. So like you're hoping that he's really good on offense and you can play him as kind of your third guard type. That's what he is for me. He's a third guard, and there's some value in that. Obviously, Hero is like an example of like a high end third guard. I still think he's a third guard to be honest, but he got a lot of attention this year. Anyway, I thought he's kind of in terms of like the consensus top 20, 25 guys, he's kind of the only guy like him in this group that's like a true combo. Because most other guys, like even Jaden Hardy is like 2 guard size.
It's generally like also like a bad and weak guard class and like a low field class as well. And like TyTy is someone who like checks both of those boxes as well. So he could be someone team's value because like
I think he knows
a lot of options there.
He's a very Travis Schlenk guy, honestly. Like he's dribble, pass, shoot. Like he's really skilled. Like I think that he is a Schlenk guy in a vacuum. I don't know if that means he's going to take him now, but I think he does sort of check the boxes that I know Travis likes in a prospect. He's not the greatest athlete, which Travis doesn't necessarily care about that much. He drafted Trey, he drafted Cam, guys that are not like even Hunter is not the greatest athlete in the world. Like Collins obviously was his first draft pick, but even that was a bigger, thicker, less explosive Collins than he is now. So anyway, Kevin Huerter, skill guy, more than an athlete. I'm just saying he's a very schlanky guy. Just making that point now. We'll have more on the NBA draft in just a few seconds, but first, a word from our friends at Built Bar. We've been asking for a while, and Built has now delivered. Built granola bars are now here, and Built granola bars have 3 unbelievable flavors. They have chocolate peanut butter, chocolate coconut, and white chocolate berry. If you want to try all 3 right now, you can mix box at built.com right this second. And they're so different from Built bars and Built Puffs because Built granola bars are loaded with granola. They have the perfect combination of chewiness and crunchiness. And just like bars and puffs, these bars have all kinds of protein, and they're covered in 100% real chocolate. 150 calories, 15 grams of protein, only 4 grams of sugar. Built granola bars will change your world, and they've cracked the code to a better granola. They're the perfect healthy snack to take on the road and packing your lunch or eat as a snack anywhere you want to. And they're made with collagen protein, which your body can absorb more efficiently. That provides all kinds of health benefits. You've been waiting for a while for a perfect granola bar, and this is the absolute best option that is available to you right now. Head to Built.com at this very moment to get all the Built granola bars that you want to. And again, the 3 delicious flavors are chocolate peanut butter, chocolate coconut, and white chocolate berry. Do not miss out on this offer. You got to get yours absolutely right now today. Go to Built.com and get all the Built granola bars that you want to, as well as all the Built bars and Built Puffs that you want, and use the promo code LOCK15 when you get there. One more time, that is promo code LOCK15, 50% off at Built.com. Tari Eason is a very popular mock draft name, and also Hawks fans seem to have taken to him. He worked out for the Hawks. He checks the defensive boxes the Hawks want. Do you like Tari Eason at all? And is he someone that would be intriguing for you?
Yeah, I enjoy Tari. He's pretty impressive. As like a defender, as you said. Like I think like there's some maybe inflation by just like LSU just like dive for stocks all the time kind of
LSU madness. Yeah, agree.
But
I agree with
that. Like he's huge, can really move, like obviously has some instincts, and like I don't want to like get too worried about like the guys doing crazy shit in the zone, because like that's how I underrated like Jaden McDaniels, for example. Like I think like the defense is getting really real. He's on an impressive shooting curve, like has really improved there at the end of the season. I'm still not like super buying the shot like that. I'm not sure about it, but like it certainly is impressive. I think it's like a slasher. There's real upside, even if like I'm not convinced of the offense being like good early in his career. Like he can really get downhill. Like the handle is currently really bad, but I think like with the way he's strong and can be flexible and has flashes of like rare flashes of changing direction, like there's a possibility that it develops into something, good enough for like a second side attacker. So what attacking closeouts and the mid post and stuff like that. So I like Tari as like a guy who can contribute probably right away on defense and has some like reasonable offensive upside. So yeah, I'm pro.
Yeah, he's a guy that it's a very logical Hawks pick just because of what they have said that they want defensively. Offensively, I think I might not be as high as some people are on him, but I think I at least see it. Like it makes sense to me what he could be.
Yeah.
And he measured well. I think 7'2" wingspan. If they want to just, as far as defensive impact, he would probably be the guy who in this range could help them the quickest defensively.
Yeah, I mean, he is very large and moves very well. Like,
yeah.
Dude, like, and like he's also just like the meanest player in this draft. Not in terms of his personality. I'm sure he's a sweet guy.
Just the way he plays, yeah.
In terms of just like wanting to like to like commit felonies every time he steps on the court. Like he wants to like end up on SportsCenter top 10.
Yeah, he plays with some aggression, that's for sure, and it kind of fits at LSU.
Like he is in like the Memorial
Precaution
Memorial group of like guys who want to commit crimes when they're on the court. Like,
that's so funny.
Just like who would just like dunk on everyone, like try to dunk on everyone and try to block everything. Which I generally think is probably a good thing if we're talking about like.
I agree. I tend to think that's probably a good trait to have, generally speaking. All right, before I let you go, I have to get your thoughts on the top of the class.
Of course.
I'll open it up to you. What is your crowning take at the top of the draft? Are you someone that has a firm number one in this group? Is there somebody that you have higher than everybody else? Are you a Keegan Murray stan? I don't know where you are on any of this stuff right now, Ben. So what do you think at the top?
I think Paolo and Chet are like the clear top two. Both of these guys are very good in their own way. Paolo is Paolo's my number one guy. I think it's close with Chet, like as like a real jumbo shot creator, who can like really score. can really pass, is a guy who's going to be able to shoot off the dribble for a guy of his size, is like a very high level passer for someone of his role as well. Like I think it's often lost. Like someone who like is going to be fine enough on defense, I think.
Yeah.
Like that is just like everything like the NBA was looking for now, and like the mega creators, and like because of that, it's kind of weird to me that he's like getting no number one buzz basically. Like it seems like Jabari and Chet are getting all of that.
Yeah, it seems like at least practically, even the people that seem to have Paolo in that race kind of acknowledge that in the league, it seems like it's not going to happen.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, I'm not super surprised. It's a little bit surprising though that he's that like almost no one is like talking about him at all at that.
Everyone always loves the Duke guys too. Like
yeah, I mean I know I talked to Ricky O'Donnell recently on the show, and he has Paolo number one. He's had Paolo number one the whole time, and he was like, I feel like it's an outlier, and I'm like, well, it's not that outlier for like people like us. I just feel like there's nobody in the league that's doing that in terms of what Orlando did.
It's like it's a pretty common take like here on the internet. But it seems like that's the league is not trying that way, which good for the Rockets down or whoever is going to be able to land on that guy.
Yeah.
I think Chet is fantastic as well. Just like real like all defense, like clear all defense upside with like impressive complementary offense too, with the shooting and the finishing, and maybe he develops into like a really awesome shooter because like I certainly think he's on an impressive trajectory there.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the people who are like he's skinny. I don't really think we need to.
I mean he is skinny, Ben, to be fair.
Sure. Yes, but like the fear
mongering about it. No, I agree.
Yes.
I mean, this is a little bit simplistic. I know at least my friend Brian Schroeder always has these great like so and so does this and this and nobody else does that kind of stuff. And Chet has like so many of those things from this year of like guys who have never done what he's done statistically, like or it's like Chet and Zion or like the two guys that have done this. Like, that's a pretty good place to be.
Extremely dominant, and like has like obvious like really impressive high end skills. Like the rim protection is probably pretty special. Like the finishing is incredible. Some of the shot making flashes are awesome. Like it's very obvious to me like Chet, and like there's just no nuance surrounding his game ever. Like there are like parts of his game where like the frame and the strength like are gonna hanker him. Like when he's able to like when his handle's getting pressure and then he's like getting pushed by thicker defenders, and when he's like navigating like screens and seals down low, like that's when those things are gonna matter. Not when he's like guarding Joel Embiid, because like everyone gets destroyed by Joel Embiid. So very solid number one pick contender, I think.
Makes sense to me. Our mutual friend Andrew Kelly is very pro Jaden Ivey trade up for the Hawks. He's been talking about it every chance he gets. What do you think of that idea? Just generally.
I've talked about this a little bit. I think that would be very, very awesome. I'm totally with our good friend.
Hi, Andrew.
AK. Hi, Andy. How's it going? It's hard to think of like a better like off tray attacker than Jaden Ivey. Like unbelievable like S tier athleticism, with like real shooting ability off the catch and like developing skill in the intermediate and such. Like he is someone who like you show him a tilted defense and he is going to eat, and like Trey is going to make him a very like wealthy and like a guy who scores a lot. Like I could see him being like a very potent scorer like his rookie year if somehow that were to happen. Like the off scoring is incredible. I think long term like the big issues with Ivey offensively are just like his like lack of pick and roll pacing and intermediate scoring craft and such. And I think those are things you can kind of rep out, and like he also like is going to get the chance to like run his own offense when Trey is off the floor, because like I feel like we've been talking about also this for like 4 years as well. Looking for a guy who can do this consistently. I think Ivey is someone you hope can get there long term, at least enough to man the fort while Trey is off, because like it's not like he can't score against the set defense. Like he is so bursty, he can blow right by guys most of the time, and can do some stuff in pick and roll as well. And I think defensively like has impressive tools, and currently is pretty raw in terms of his screen navigation and how he moves his feet and his awareness. But like he's really young. I think he's like I'm pretty sure he's young for his class as well, despite being a sophomore.
Yeah, he's still I think maybe 20, if not. I think he might
Yeah,
even still be 19. One of those.
yeah,
I'll look it up right now. But yeah, he just turned 20 in February, so he's pretty young.
yeah, exactly. So he's still relatively young. So I think the defense is going to be fine enough. I mean, I have him as like clear number 3 prospect in the class. Like, and like another guy, like if you were to like have him number 1, I don't think it's crazy. Like I wouldn't do it, but like I get it.
Yeah, that's exactly where I am with Jaden. I don't think he should be in that conversation, but I also understand. I really do. In terms of where the league is, in terms of what his upside could be, I do understand why people have him 1, 2, something like that. I'm not quite there, but I do understand it for sure. Doing the math, that means you have Jabari 4, or do you have Jabari even lower than that? Are you out on Jabari?
Low. I'm pretty low on Jabari. Just in general. I have him like 5 or 6, but like it's like in a tier with like 3 to like 6 or something. So like I think at like 3 he'd be fine. I think of him as like a defense first prospect, which is kind of like crazy if you only know the mainstream. Like he is a very special mover at that size. And like the off ball defense isn't great, but like the way he's able to move his feet and flip his hips and chase guys at 6'10" is pretty remarkable. I think there's like real wing stopper equity there, because I also think he's a guy who can add a lot of strength too. Offensively, like outside of the shot making, I'm just generally concerned about what he brings. The passing is very rough. The finishing is rough. The decision making overall is rough. He cannot dribble at all. Creating easy shots against college defenders was a major struggle for him. And obviously it didn't matter like a lot of the time because he can just shoot over everyone. But like you think like at the NBA level, like the defenders get bigger and stronger and longer and smarter. And the inability to create advantages like hurts more. Like I still think Jabari is going to be able to get a shot off fine in the league. Like he is like a monster shot making prospect, and like I think the upside is like a shot making defender is really interesting. But like when I'm picking in the top 5, like I think the upside of Ivey is a potential like really impressive secondary, primary scorer, secondary decision maker, creator is more intriguing. I think the upside of AJ Griffin honestly is a little more intriguing as well, as someone who I think like has a lot more downside than Jabari certainly, but I think can be a very impressive like creator, mega creator, mega shooter. Like I think AJ is probably a little better of a shooter than Jabari long term, just because I think he does more off the dribble and off the ball, and like certainly is better at all of the other skills as well. So those are kind of my top guys. I also think Jalen Duren should be mentioned in that group.
I was going to ask you if there was a guy that you want to throw in that group, and I guess Jalen Duren.
Yes, Duren, like I think is super undervalued. Like he's not the same as these other. I mean, besides being like one of the youngest players in the draft, is like a different tier of athlete from everyone. Like he is an unbelievable vertical athlete. Like yes, he's small, and I think that's going to preclude him more in offense. But like he is so quick off the floor, so long, so explosive, moves so well. Like his hips aren't amazing, but like, he could really move his feet. Like a guy who's going to be an awesome rim protector in the league, which is what you need. And then offensively, like again, like going to be an amazing lob finisher. And I think it's improved a lot as a decision maker and like a simple passer. And when you have a guy who could be that good as a vertical spacing threat, like the simple passing is kind of like all I think you're really going to need from him. So I'm a huge Duren guy. I think he should go in like the top 6 or 7. And it seems like mid-late lotto is his range, which is kind of wild to me.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Obviously, Hawks wise, it's like he's just off the board, so I don't even think about him that much.
Like
he's
the Hawks
really
getting him, and even if they do, it's probably like not the guy you take. But
yeah, if Duren and Mark Williams are like the 2 guys I just will never talk about on the podcast, because they, the Hawks just have no reason to go get either one of them. Yeah, but exactly. I like them both. Duren's better prospect for sure.
Right. It's like I think like Duren, like I think like the comps are kind of unfair because like Duren, like they're just like different players. Like Mark is like more technical in his in his defensive stuff and his drop work. He's obviously larger, extremely huge based on his combine measurements, which like he didn't really strike me as that enormous on tape. But like he, the combine measurements are certainly impressive. Sure. Like is like a more polished scorer on offense, but like he is like a far inferior athlete to Duren. I think is on a worse passing trajectory. Is not going to be as impressive as a finisher, and is older. Like, so
Yeah.
I definitely don't. I think Duren is under. I think it's more Duren being underrated than Williams being overrated. Honestly.
I tend to agree with that generally. And just as a point, Duren is going to be the very rare player now in the one and on era that's going to be 18 when he debuts. Like he'll be 18 playing in the NBA in October. Like he doesn't turn 19 until November, that doesn't happen. I mean, it's a small thing, but he's really, really young.
Yeah, like there just aren't a lot of guys. Like I think like Josh Primo was like that last year, and that was very different. And like Poku was like that.
Yeah. But if you're 18 and you're doing what he even, also worth noting, Memphis situation wise was not great.
Oh yeah, he has he has no guards.
It was tough to watch at times in Memphis.
Duren is like never played with like real guards. Like he missed Cade by a year, at Montford. Like his AAU team was all bigs. Like he played with Derek Lively.
And then, yeah, that's funny.
And then like at Memphis, like all of the guards like don't really pass. Like no. And none of his teammates are real passers. So like
no,
he was not working like in optimal conditions at all. And like no one really is in college. But I think it's important to consider.
No, it was definitely worse than usual context.
Yeah, like that. He like his limitations were really kind of exposed, and his strengths were kind of muted. And obviously, whatever NBA team invests in him is going to have vested interest in making sure that isn't the case anymore.
Makes sense to me. To end, I always ask this, so you probably won't be surprised. And you've probably mentioned a guy or two on this, but like, do you have your guys in this draft? You mentioned a couple of them earlier, I think, but is there anybody that we haven't talked about that you want to mention as like one of your guys that you are higher on, that you kind of have staked your claim on this class, or is it one where you haven't found those guys yet?
I feel like I don't really have guys in this class. Like maybe it's like a reflection of how I feel about the class. It's like I will like go to war for Darian Sebron, but like.
Oh yeah, there's one.
Paolo, I guess.
There's a guy for you.
And like Paolo, I guess, is one of my guys. But like I feel like I don't really have like guys like I have in the past. Like there's no one like Giddey or even Springer who like I'm attached to like that in this class. I definitely think like Duren is one of my guys as someone who I just feel is like really undervalued. Who else do I think is undervalued? I think Kennedy Chandler is probably undervalued at this point.
Yep. I like him too.
I don't know if you could call him one of my guys. Like I really enjoy him. But like he is so good. Like
he plays hard too.
It's hard with his size. Like it's just always is going to be. But like as like an off ball, like he is like that guy is a monster off ball mover. Like how do you stop him? Like when he's cutting, when he's juking guys out to get dribble handoff threes. Like
I mean, and he's small, but he's not that small. I mean, he's small, but I think he measured almost 6'1" in shoes. That's not like comical. It's not like ridiculously small. He's got 6'5" wingspan is like okay enough. He's not a tiny guy. He's just he is small, but
it's not like players of his size have never made it before.
Yeah, it's not like he's 5'9". Which is if you just let's like people talk about him, it's like you think he was like Nate Robinson. He's not that small. He's
you just have to be very, very good to make it. And it's always so hard for guys that size.
I mean, he might be a backup, and that's okay. But like he's gonna go late in the first. That's where you go.
I would definitely take him earlier because like the burst is unbelievably special. The shooting is impressive. Like the pick and roll stuff is great. Like again, it's like so many of these small guys are like actually good defenders who just like have the very crippling issue of being very small. Like he has like the Trey Waters defense issue, where it's like all of these like very like smart try hard defenders like are cursed with these underwhelming frames.
Yeah, you just have no chance.
I like Kennedy a lot.
Yeah, I like him too. I meant to ask you about this guy earlier, and I just remembered because I'm looking at a list. Do you have a Leonard Miller opinion? Because I do not, because I've only seen him play, I think, twice. He's probably the guy I've seen the least in the entire class. But have you gotten to watch him, and what do you make of it? Because he seems to be a guy, like, I see people that have him at like 10. It's like, whoa.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I have. He's not my favorite guy. Again, like super, super young. Like very large, and like the movement is so impressive.
I should say like actually who he is too. People, I mean, unless you're a diehard, you might not even know who Leonard Miller is. He's how do I describe him? Like he played prep
Canadian,
school, Canadian, like
he's like Canadian prep school guy, like 6'10" point kind of type.
who's never played. I mean, if you are a even semi-casual fan, you've never seen him play. You would have no ways. You have no way to see him play. I've been trying to watch more of him. I can't find ways to see him play. So it's like, it's hard. He's definitely the pure mystery guy in this.
Like he was all right at hoops. Like he was like supposedly like pretty good at like hoop summit, like practices and stuff.
Because at least with Shaden Sharp, who's also this way, Shaden Sharp was like on the circuit. Like he on the American AAU circuit, like people have seen him play, not recently a lot because he was obviously hasn't played really in like a year and a half. But Leonard Miller did that in Canada. was not on the circuit like that.
So he is such an unbelievable mover. Like he is like Shea Funky in his movement in ways like where he can like move his like torso like parallel to the ground, like get below guys on his drives and like wiggle around defenders when he's lacking in athleticism and handling, tightness. But and like some of the feels impressive. Like he kind of plays like good reckless. Like his like passing game is very chaotic good. Where he's kind of just like, throwing the ball and like hoping it sticks, and more or less it just kind of sticks. Like I know it's like not a very like it's just like the way I kind of feel about his passing. Like it doesn't seem like he's making calculated reads, and like the complex stuff isn't always amazing, and he misses reads too. But like some of like the instincts plays are awesome. There certainly is something there as well. Like again, like the jumbo dribble passer. It's like another one of these. Whose scoring is a big issue. Like has pretty good touch, but like the shot is currently very far away. The leaping is really rough, so he's not gonna be able to finish, I think. There's some interesting intermediate scoring flashes, but like again, just flashes. He's not like so dissimilar from Usman Jang in a lot of ways. Like definitely like a very different player, like totally different defender. Like Leonard is it was like Leonard is a very apathetic defender. And which this did like not preclude well for him at the combine scrimmages, where like he's obviously expected to play defense, and it's hard to like know with his competition level is very rough. Like it's probably like worse than someone like Pat Baldwin's.
Oh yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah, and like he like was not really like it didn't seem like he was asked to really defend. Like he was like their primary ball handler. Like he dribbled the ball up every single time, and wasn't really defending. And like also like kind of like similar stuff to Pat, really struggled to get advantages and get easy shots at times against this very rough competition. So I'm not a huge Leonard Miller fan. Like I think he's an interesting, I think he'd be interesting like late first kind of flyer.
Sure.
But like they're like the limitations are very intense, and I don't think the strengths like is so theoretical at this point.
Yeah.
I'm like he's the guy I like with like the age and like the movement and the size, but like I don't know, like I just like maybe it's like my fault, like maybe I'm being too myopic about it, and it's like I'm not.
I mean
sure
he's
how it
obviously
works,
far.
but
He's obviously far away too. And to put a point on the competition thing, I just looked this up. He played at 40 Degree Prep. 40 Degree Prep plays in something called the Ontario Scholastic Basketball Association.
Yeah,
that's what we're looking at. That's what you're watching to try to figure out Leonard Miller.
Have you heard of that?
I candidly have not been.
Yeah,
it probably exists. I'm sure people know. I'm sure, and I'm not that smart about this stuff, but it's not. Listen, he just kind of came out of nowhere. I hadn't heard much about him at all until like the last few months, and now he's just kind of here. And he went to the combine, measured I think a 7'2" wingspan, and he's young and just an interesting guy that I will not claim any kind of command on his.
Yeah, it's like I'm not really having like a very like I don't have like I'm not gonna have a very strong take.
Yeah, I actually like to watch guys. I mean, that's the thing about us. I think I can speak for you too, Ben. I actually like to watch these guys. I know a lot of people don't like to watch basketball prospects when they're trying to evaluate them, but I don't like to talk about guys until I've actually watched them.
It's fully understandable. Like,
and that's the thing about honestly, people keep asking about Shaden Sharp, and I totally understand why, but I kind of have to shrug a little bit. Like I've seen him a few times, but I don't really have a grasp on Shaden Sharp. I have to go off people that I trust. I can ask them about them, and I kind of I'll listen to people that I've seen him play more than I have. But he's a great example of a player where like I am never going to be like pound the table. I don't know. Shaden Sharp might be the best player in the class. I have no idea. Truly.
Yeah, like I'm
Tools are great.
yeah, like I don't know. I mean, I'm not a huge sharp guy. Generally, like the
Yeah, and
tools are
that's
awesome,
that's
but
fine.
like
It's
yeah, but
just weird.
like especially with Leonard, it's like I'm just like I don't know, like I'm not gonna stake that hard of a claim, but like I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but if he works out, like it wouldn't be crazy.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Which is probably always which is probably like generally good advice, always like is to not be too attached to anyone and be understanding of their flaws and strengths.
Well, yeah, that's probably the way to approach it, and also, root for guys to succeed. We want them all to succeed. It's never going to happen, but it's just one of those things. I don't know, Ben. Is there anybody we haven't talked about that you want to get off your chest? If not, we can sign off. You've given me a lot of time.
Not that I think we covered like the whole draft as we kind of always do.
We could we could spend 5 minutes on my guy Jalen Terry, who I greatly enjoy, but we don't have to do that. I like Jalen Terry.
Yeah,
He's my non-lottery.
I don't really have a strong take on Jalen Terry, to be honest. So, like,
he's probably my favorite in terms of like where I am versus consensus guy outside the lottery. I like him quite a bit. He's high on my list. I'm trying to look at my notes to see if we missed anybody. I think we're probably good. Other than I'm gonna headline this podcast with Ben Pfeifer delivers Jabari Smith slander just for the SEO. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna.
I'm gonna get. So I mean I don't know. I know like whenever he gets drafted, I'm gonna be branded as like the Jabari Smith hater because I'm gonna tweet something inflammatory like this was not a good decision, and people and his fans of his team are gonna be like, oh, you want the guy to fail in life, and I'm like, no, like I really don't. Like same thing with like Jalen Green. It's like I really like the guy. I wish him the best. I just don't think his front office made the most prudent decision. I hope he has a fantastic career. Like
yeah, and there you go. And that's the thing. Like I not to go down the rabbit hole too much, but most people that are reasonable, and not you are certainly in that category. We're not rooting for these guys to fail if we don't like them as prospects that much. Like that, I hope they succeed. There are guys in this draft I am definitely lower on than some people are, and I'm like I have to say that. Just because I'm being honest, but it doesn't mean I'm
right. You can't be high on everyone.
Like, I'm not hating on whoever that guy is. Like, I'm sure I'll be accused of hating. The word hating, it bothers me as well, just in general. It's like, oh, you're hating on this guy. It's like, no, I actually don't have a personal feeling on player X. I just don't love them as prospects. So.
It's like almost all of my personal feelings about players, regardless of how I feel about them as prospects, are very positive because I think a lot of players are cool and fun, and energetic. And like the only way I'm gonna have a bad feeling about someone is if like they're like a demonstrably bad person,
right? If they have like really like actual bad stuff behind the scenes, then that I might have heard about, that might change things. But most guys, 99% of those guys, that doesn't happen.
Most guys aren't. Fortunately, in our league, like most guys don't seem to be like that. So
does not seem that way. Anyway, well, Ben, thank you for all the time as always. Please plug whatever you would like to plug. I know you're always doing stuff. You're always around writing things and talking about things. But where can people find your stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really doing as many things, this time around, but like, just
hire Ben. I saw your tweet recently. Hire Ben.
Yeah, I don't know. Like for like the people listening to this podcast, I'm like not really trying to get back into writing. I just like want to go to grad school and need some money.
There you go.
Because that's unfortunately a thing. But yes. Yeah, I mean, like every once in a while, I'll post YouTube videos over on my YouTube channel, which is just my name. They're just kind of rambly, but I think they're fun. Yeah, I mean, if I do anything, it'll be on my Twitter. So just go and follow that, I guess.
Follow Ben. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it on the screen. If not, you can look in the description, or it's at BJPF_, I believe is the current.
I like the YouTube ones. I don't know. It's kind of fun. Like it's kind of cool. I don't know.
Yeah. Listen, it's a requirement for me to do YouTube podcasts now. So here we are on screen. No, really sincere thanks, man. I appreciate you getting up early for me on the West Coast to do this podcast as well. I do appreciate that as well.
Can't think of a much better way to start my day. And
there you go. Start your weekend or whatever you're doing.
Like so many good sound bites for like a promo. It's like can't think of a better way to start my day. It's like Ben hates Jabari Smith. It's like.
People would do that. I would not do that to you ever. So just so you know, just to be clear. All right. As for everybody else, please subscribe to the podcast. Once again, check out Ben's work, and we'll see you next time.